Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Krashy, and today we're going to be diving into the Season 3 Early Access Roadmap, the blog post, give my thoughts, and just kind of dive into what's going on with Predecessor currently. So I kind of went into this season, or was going into the release of this blog post, with a very specific sentiment. I don't expect much. I haven't had very high expectations of the game, but I think, like I've said in like recent videos, I'm just coming to terms with where Pred is and how it's going, and don't really expect much change. But that said, Season 3 is a big tell-all moment, and not just the release of the roadmap, but how Season 3 actually happens. And so going into this roadmap, I don't want to say optimistic or pessimistic. I was just kind of neutral. Like, I knew they weren't going to give us a lot, but I know that they're kind of trying to underpromise and overdeliver. So we can bank on the fact that they might be able to overdeliver. And I know that we're getting masteries because I found that out the other night on Predcast via Soul Reaper and Penzo, saying that Robbie, our GSA, had said this in chats before. So I know that we're getting that, which is really, really good. Let me start there. I think getting Hero Mastery and having something to play for is really, really good. But I do think that as of this current moment, and I want to stay not ragey and flamey, I think that this is not looking good. It's not looking good. But let's go ahead and talk about why. So let's go ahead and look at the actual roadmap itself. Let's talk about what's going on in here, and yeah, let's go from there. So we have the 5 heroes that are going to be coming out, and we got a sneak peek for this yesterday on Predcast. We have V0.11 is going to be jungle, V0.12 is going to be carry, V0.13 is going to be mid lane, V0.14 is going to be off lane, and then we have an Omega original hero, V0.15 is going to be most likely a support. For one, I think that the support role for Pred or for Paragon, I know that the support role for Paragon has already been completed. Like, there are no more previous Paragon supports that are, waiting to be released. So, naturally they have to make more supports in order to keep the role fun, and that's a perfect place to kind of release an original at, considering they still have other roles of Paragon heroes to release. So perfect. We're going to get a lot of the same level rewards, EA exclusive season icon, Omega profile icon, Omega hero profile icon, season themed common hero skin, season themed junk pad VFX, season themed common hero skin, season themed recall VFX, season themed common hero skin, and now we have the planned features. Now it says this list is show of intent. Some features may not make it in during the season. Now, I do think that is a little funny to add that line. It makes sense. But when the sentiment is like, hey, let's under promise and over deliver, because it's like they're still like, just in case, hero affinity. Now this is mastery, which is great. I really didn't know this was coming, and I was not expecting this for this season. So I actually think that this is the number one best thing about this season, is that we're getting hero mastery. I want to make sure that I always praise the game for what they're doing right, and also shit on the game for what they're doing wrong. This is something that they're doing right. I actually thought this was going to take a lot longer, just based on the pace of their development, which is super slow. It's some of the slowest development I feel like I've ever seen, if I'm being honest. That might be a little bit of an exaggeration, but it's slow. So Hero Affinity, which is their version of Hero Mastery, they just named it their own kind of way, I'm excited about. I hope that it feels good. I hope that the rewards are good. I would be lying to you if I didn't tell you I'm at least a little concerned, because I haven't seen basically any good skins except for like the Rampage Rock skin, which, yes, I know y'all always tell, every time I bring it up, y'all tell me in the comments, I know it's a Paragon skin. I know it's still good, but I haven't really seen very many good skins, and except for some of the ones they've teased but haven't come out, like the Lieutenant Bellica skin, which I think is sick, hasn't come out. PS4 and PS5 early access launch. That's exciting. That's good news. It's probably going to happen V12, V13, because we know it's not happening right at the start of Season 3, but they said early Season 3, so naturally, V12, V13, somewhere in there. New UI, which we know about, account linking, jungle AI improvement, hero acquisition, dynamic ping system improvements. I'm very excited about that one. I don't think it's going to be super robust. If I'm being honest, I really... If it's a crazy good ping system, I'm going to blow my lid, because I'll hop on here and let you guys know, yo, this is awesome. New controller layout, Twitch drops. So let's talk about this a little bit. Account linking. This game is cross-play, cross-progression, is going to be here soon. So if I wanted to boot up on my console and play, I could link my PlayStation account with my PC account, and I have all the same shit. It's the same account. That is great. I think crossplay, cross regression, you have to have that. It's great. That's awesome. Jungle AI improvement. I'm excited about this. I think that having better jungle is better for my role specifically, but because the jungle is so stupid, like it's like if you touch a wall in the jungle, you lose aggro and they start healing. So you're gonna be able to kite these better. Hopefully the interaction is gonna be more fun. I don't really know what to expect. We'll read a little bit about that one so I can give more thoughts on that. Hero acquisition. This is the one that's been, the can's been kicked down the road quite a bit on this one. Excited about this one, but I do have a fear with hero acquisition as well. But it's not really specifically about hero acquisition, and kind of patches into hero acquisition, and that's the lack of a free-to-play currency. So what is hero acquisition? We already have confirmed that hero acquisition is going to be in the form of a hero contract, and that hero contract is basically going to be like a list of quests, right? Like you got to do all these things, and if you do all these things, you unlock the hero. Cool, that's great. That drives gameplay. It drives, it's a version of progression to acquire a hero. It's for free. That's awesome. Or if you want to, which a lot of content creators will for new releases, you can just buy the new hero. So like, when this comes out, I'm probably just going to buy Serath, because that's what I'm most likely going to do, and skip the contract. But I do think, and this is very important, not just for hero acquisition, but for skins, for other content that the game basically has none of, like icons and banners and titles and any other cool things that you can get, which again, the game basically has none of. I think there has to be a free-to-play currency. I think it's such a mistake to not have ways to get a return for the time that you play to unlock some cool shit, even if it's not the best of shit. And if it is the best of shit, like I'm talking like the super crazy Bellica skin, make it really expensive on the free-to-play currency and make the gain rate low but reasonable. So I'm worried because they've basically never said anything about a free-to-play currency. I really think you have to have it. I really think you have to have a free-to-play currency. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that, or what doesn't happen with that. Dynamic ping system improvements, again, if it's crazy cool, I'm going to praise the shit out of it, because the ping system is absolutely atrocious. It's one of the worst things in the game. I'm going to spit it out. I just want to press a button, pull up a map, and ping the map. I think crazy intuitive pinging is good on top of simple map pinging, but not having a map ping in a MOBA feels really terrible. New controller layout, that's great for controller homies. I don't really care. And Twitch drops, yeah, that's cool. That's promotional a bit. I don't really, I don't know if you have to pay money for Twitch drops. I feel like it's oddly timed with it not just being free to play, but we'll see what that does, right? That's going to be free content, so that's cool. But I don't actually think that's going to do much other than help some of the streamers, which is great. That's awesome. But I'm not super crazy excited about it. But it's cool, right? So now let's quickly, I want to find the jungle AI improvements, and I'm going to read it and talk about it really quickly. So jungle AI improvements: playing as a jungler is about to become even more exciting. We're planning several improvements to make the fights with the jungle minions more challenging and more thrilling. Minions can be able to exit their camp radius, attack while moving, jump off nearby ledges, and have improved pathfinding. I don't know what that means, because, like, where are they going? Alongside this, we have a larger jungle rebalance plan to promote more interactive gameplay between the dedicated junglers and their lane-focused counterparts. We hope these changes will make the jungle role even more involved and exciting, while adding an extra layer of depth for any hero who ventures in it. So, for me, my biggest question, or the biggest things about this, are jungle rebalance, because that means they're not just changing the way it works, they're actually rebalancing it. This could be improved, or like more experience, it could be less experience, it could be easier to kill camps so you have faster clears so you can engage with the lanes more. It might be longer time to kill, so that way your ganks maybe early on are really detrimental to you, because you'll really fall behind if you have a failed gank. So I don't want to speculate. I do have an idea, but I don't even really want to spit it out on what I think it's going to be. But we'll just see. Now, that aside, it says you can pull, they'll be able to exit their camp radius. I wonder if that means we have any ranged junglers. That's just a thought. I don't think their clear would be good, and unless the jungle camps are getting easier to kill, I'm interested. I'm interested to see if this is going to open up the door for like mage junglers or something like that. We'll see. Probably not, but it's possible. Now, we got to get to why I don't think this season is looking good. Let's find it. Season 3 structure. Season 3 will start on September 12th and will wrap up in early 2024. We'll communicate the exact end of date later. It will consist of 5 main updates released regularly, and much like you might expect, each of them is going to bring something new and exciting. 5 new heroes and 1 new original among them. We'll also regularly release regular balance patches between each update, and have done so as we have done so far. I feel like this is buttering us up. Like, this little paragraph right here is just to butter us up, to drop us to our knees. We are making an important change to the release cadence of Season 3. After point 11, the speed at which we will release each patch will slow down slightly. Larger content patches will be roughly every 6 weeks, and balance patches will follow them approximately 3 weeks after. The reason for this change is to allow us to focus more on adding the remaining content into the game that is necessary for us to reach our free-to-play goals, while we will also be using the extra time to streamline our release process for our upcoming console release. After this season, we'll be releasing this new cadence and make adjustments. So, the only saving grace is after this season, we will reassess. Sorry, I said that wrong. This new cadence and make adjustments, because this is terrible. Like the word. Where is it? Hold on. Slow down. This should not be in a predecessor blog at all. This is one of the slow. Like, I'm not kidding. This game is being developed slow. And seeing them say that they're going to slow down, and this is presumably going to be like 7 months, you know, I mean, if I'm understanding it correctly, 7+ months of releases, this season is going to be absolutely grueling. This season is going to be a lot more of the same. Let me explain. Pause on that thought. But it's going to be absolutely grueling. Now, again, I want to put a pin in this, and I want to say I am very excited about Hero Affinity, Hero Mastery. I'm very excited about having something to play for. One of the big additions that you can expect in Season 3 is Hero Affinity, our take on the beloved Hero Mastery system from Paragon. With this system, you'll be rewarded for spending time mastering each hero. There will be various rewards, with each tier reflecting the hard work and dedication required to achieve it. From shiny titles that will display on loading screens to exclusive skins, there will be plenty of reasons to play or to level up your favorite heroes. We'll share more details about this system soon. Very excited about that. I think that that's going to be great. If not for that, this season would already instantaneously be an absolute flop. So, I have to praise that because I can't ignore it. I can't ignore that detail, because if I did, that would be negligent of me. But seeing them slow down is not great. Someone on Reddit did the math. It's like the time we've spent in early access already has been like 9 months. This season alone is going to be like 70% of that time. Or something like that. 60 to 70% of that time. So we're like, you know, if I'm rounding up crazily, we're almost doubling the amount of time that we've been in early access. And we're getting a lot more of nothing on paper. Again, because I said at the beginning of the video, it's not enough to judge, or it's not fair to judge the season by what's in here, because they could overpromise, or they could overdeliver. I'm sorry. They're maybe they're promising really low and they're going to blow us out of the water. I don't know. I hope so, but that just feels like weird communication. So I don't know, right? Like, I'm glad that they're not overpromising, because that would be really bad. But this isn't good. This is kind of scary. And what's the worst case what's the worst thing that could happen? Let's talk about that. Because I don't think this is existential. Let me make that incredibly clear as well. I do not think that this is existential, meaning that I don't think that even if this season is slow, the game will die. I'm not saying that. I promise you I'm not saying that. My biggest concern is that in having an early access at a development speed such as this, you are going to unintentionally burn some of your players. And to say burn players, I mean almost kill their desire to play the game entirely. Some of them will stick around or come back. Some of them won't. And you're basically gambling all of those players. You're gambling those players. I just noticed a funny detail. The X logo for Twitter. That's really funny. You're basically gambling all of those players on the free-to-play release. Because to some degree, you're hoping they'll stick around. You're always hoping your player base will stick around. But with this speed of development, you know that they're going to taper off, or I think that you should reasonably expect that they're going to taper off. And you're praying that that free-to-play moment is going to be the big boom to the game. My fear, and again, I have to give them that line that they said. What did they say? update frequency. They will reassess. I have to hope that they will reassess and get faster after this season. But I was hoping that they were going to reassess and get faster with this season. I was hoping that we were not going to be hiding behind the concept of this new UI for updates and content and releases for this game. This is troubling. I'm not excited about it. I'm going to play it. I'll be around. If I'm being honest, like I said, I think that this is going to be a very long, slow, grueling season. I think the match quality is going to feel the same, which is terrible. I think the matchmaking, which is part of match quality, is going to feel the same, which is terrible. I feel like mastery is going to feel good for a little bit, and then we're going to get used to it. I don't know how to explain that phenomenon in gaming where something new comes out, and it is good, but you get used to it because it just becomes the norm. So I think that hero affinity is going to become the norm pretty quickly. We're going to get used to the fact that it's there. And again, I can't shit on it. It's great. I'm very excited about that. But we're going to get used to that system. Some people will probably blow the fuck through it. Some people are going to blow through it unless it's ridiculous, but we'll see. And honestly, we'll have to give feedback about the rate at which you're actually leveling certain heroes as well. And I'm just worried that we're going to have another long season of a lot of nothing. And, 5 new heroes is not nothing. I'm aware of that. And hero mastery is not nothing. I'm aware of that. And even rebalancing and improvements to jungle AI is not nothing. I'm aware of that. But if the experience mostly feels the same, then at the end of it, on this side of, dev to player relation, it's going to feel like a lot of nothing. So, I'm cautiously optimistic, if that's fair to say. That may not even be representing my position well. I hope that they're going to kill it. I hope that they are going to, drop a lot more on us than what they've promised here. I really do. In fact, I actually think they have to. I think they have to drop more than what's promised here because this is going to be a long season. And I think that if they don't, if they just nail what's on this list, it's just going to confirm what I've already been saying, which is they're too slow. Because even, I'm basically doing a 1-to-1 comparison, comparing the speed of development and assuming, now I'm making an assumption, so you gotta shit on me a little bit for that. I'm assuming the speed of development stays the same free to play. And so, the devs might be listening to what I'm saying and saying well, it's obviously going to speed up after free to play. I don't know that, so I'm just going off of what I can assume. If this speed of development is the same speed, even if it's slightly faster, because that's what we had before, because they're slowing down, I personally don't believe that will retain a player base, whether it's early access, whether it's free to play. Actually, in fact, I think it's kind of fair to say that it's already proven to not retain a player base because the player base is getting smaller. And again, I'm not saying that the game is dying. I'm not saying that the game is going to die. But my fear is that if you release free to play and you don't speed up somehow, or at least have what I would feel is a sustainable pace, because I don't think this is a sustainable pace, then it is going to be hard to retain players. So my biggest fear is that they're too slow. And yet they do amazing work. I just feel like you have to find ways to speed it up. I think that I can almost anticipate that maybe someone will compare the speed of development and releases to other big games, but you have to remember that this game is new, it's fresh, it's young is what I should say, and it's got to prove itself. This game has to contend with those games. They don't really have the luxury of contending with them on the same kind of release schedule. So yeah, it's a massive uphill battle to make a free-to-play live service game. It's an endeavor that I think is almost impossible, to be completely honest. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited to play Seraph. I'm excited to play all these heroes. I'm excited to get into whatever the jungle changes are and to try out hero affinity. I'm excited for the console players. I'm excited for y'all to be able to play the game. But you're going to be joining us in a lot of these same issues. And for some of y'all, it'll take you some time to I think reach the level of frustration or just a level of concern. You're going to love the game. I absolutely believe that. You're going to love the game because the game is lovable. The gameplay is really, really fun. The gameplay loop the gameplay loop is fun. I think the experience of playing Pred, that whole loop is not very fun after some time, but we'll see what happens. So friends, drop a like in the video. Thank you so much for listening to my thoughts. Leave me a comment in the comment section down below. How are you feeling about it? Genuinely, if you're feeling optimistic, if you feel like, hey, you know what? They're at least not overpromising, and let's give them a shot. I think that's fair. I do agree with that. We got to give them the shot. It's just a long one. They're because they've stepped out in front of us and said, hey, this is all we're giving. It's a long one. And that's all we know, right? If they plan to pump and do way more, that's great. We'll see. But this is just how I'm feeling right now. I'd love to hear your thoughts. So drop a like in the video, subscribe for future Predecessor content. As always, be sure to kind of one another, tell someone you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.